Hey, welcome to the new episode of That Marketing Show number 42. Hey, we're excited to have you back on board. We've been away for a little bit redoing the studio, but we've got a brand new studio, a new look, and we're excited to start with a new season of a little bit different episode strategy, going after one session of overview of the topic, then news from the week, and then tools of the trade. So we're going to bring in some more value and bring as much value back to you, the listener, as much as we can. So let's get right into it. What I want to talk today about is diversification, and diversification of traffic for a website. We had a story from one of our customers this week, and it's the story I've heard over and over again. Hey, why is my traffic down? What happened? Where did everything go? And why? The answer is diversification. See, traffic's not just from Google anymore. What happens if Google all of a sudden decides that they don't want to play in the search marketing business? What would you do? So a lot of customers who have decided that Google's the only place that they want to put their efforts and their money, they end up in the situation where we had with this particular customer, where over 3 years I have asked them to diversify their traffic patterns into social and into other places of the market. And now when Google came along, decided to do an algorithmic update, some of their keywords were shaken out, not necessarily because of their own fault or because of the SEO that was done for them, but mainly because of the fact that Google shouldn't be your only traffic source. Now, why I say this is because in reality, in a B2B environment, especially with this particular environment, with this company, that was the question, which was how do you get B2B traffic out of the internet? I had been really a big proponent of taking out the trash, meaning go and take your keywords out that are not performing. And that was one of the biggest things that we found, which was even if we took the trash out from a keyword perspective, we took out all of the activity related to the keywords that were not performing, you still ended up with a very small swath of good converting keywords. Now, what about going to LinkedIn? Now, this was the strategy I proposed almost 3 years ago, and now it becomes important because we realize that even with the best keywords converting and with the budgets that's allotted for doing AdWords and doing SEO, there's still just not enough oomph to get more sales and more leads in. Now, joining groups of LinkedIn for their particular line of business, connecting to people from a B2B perspective within LinkedIn, and making a real strategy out of social as a sales channel is the next step for this company. And they've finally decided that that's the route they're going to take. So my two thoughts on diversification. Think about fusing your market, fusing your strategy, even to think outside of the box to traditional land lumpy mail, like converting businesses by mailing them out a postcard or some sort of information that leads them to the website that converts them back to now an email address that you can market to. That's another idea of fusion marketing. That's my first thought. The second thought is think about the other traffic sources beyond just Google. A lot of people just don't have the time to think that there's actually a huge market in Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and other places where they can get traffic. It's just a matter of opening up your mind and being open. Okay, let's move on to the news. So today is probably around the first week where people are going to start to realize that we are now coming up to about a month into the Panda rollout. There was some testing. So Panda 4 is really what we're talking about here. So Panda 4 is the first real rollout of the softer, gentler Panda. That means that people who are used to kind of getting hit with, we could call a penalized version of Google's algorithm, they were used to getting hit pretty hard. Now we've kind of seen this rolling, tumbling Panda, or penguin, or whatever else you want to call it. We'll make up a new name, just the P. Let's just call it P4. So P4 came out and really kind of went through the algorithm and picked out keywords it didn't like that maybe were over-optimized from a keyword standpoint in your backlink profile, or what we found is that it's sort of cycling through and we're seeing an up and down rhythmic sort of juggling of rankings for particular sites for SEO. So how do you fix this? And I think that's the big concern, is a lot of people are concerned not about the Panda itself, but how to future-proof yourself from additional updates. Now, I would consider content being important, but really what this comes down to is quality. So I think if you tie together quality, that means that people spend time on the piece of content that you write, or video or infographic or whatever you want to put out there as a piece of content, and stick on that piece of content. I think that's going to start to quell the issues of the P4. One of the other things, second news item, is GPS. Now, I haven't brought GPS into any of the discussions so far because I haven't found it to be useful, but now social analytics are becoming a big rage. Now, why GPS and social analytics? Well, what's happening is there's so many handsets and cars and traffic, and so many things are being measured linear today about where their geo-targeted is, because people linked into their network, their cell phone network, and they can be tracked. So you're starting to see an amalgamation of data, and an amalgamation of these social applications are now bringing back real-time data back into hubs that can now see where people are going from and to. Now, this has big ramifications, especially for retail, about tracking where people are in mass and where they're actually traveling to. So now if you take a geo-targeted strategy and put it into your analytics and start to look at where people are tracking, where they're going, what they're doing, and now go back to the social apps and see what their behaviors are, there's some huge ramifications about geo-targeting AdWords, geo-targeting your strategies for multiple different campaigns, and also looking at how you socially will set up how you go to market. So that's one of the news items of the three, and the third is probably the most important, which is our Facebook change. Now, most people don't know this because they probably don't look at their Facebook page as often as we do, because we're a bunch of people that we work with, but Facebook's whole profile is changing for the business accounts. So if you look at the business structure, at the structure of what Facebook's trying to do, they are trying to maximize their value for their shareholders. Ha ha, making money. What an interesting concept for our buddies over there at Facebook. So they're changing up the profile on the business page to have one column. Yes, actually put some thought into not confusing customers and trying to get the ads so that someone goes to their ad and now can convert to business that makes the machine move. So Facebook will be making these changes by June 13th or so. I think that's the date. I think we're going to see a complete overhaul of all business pages by then. So you'll have a new business looking page, so look out for that in your email or look out for that in your profile. Now, let's go to the tool of the day. We happen to be big fans of CallRail. Now, we're not getting paid for this. I don't have any affiliate marketing to this, but I will tell you that CallRail to me has been a big, huge boom. A boom in our business because of two things. Well, actually three. We'll cover the last one because it's a little bit more complicated. But first, traffic segmentation. So CallRail is a tool that allows you to now track phone calls. So someone calls off an ad, someone calls off a Facebook post, someone calls from wherever, it's got a separate tracking number. We can now tell which campaigns are working, which are not. What that really means to you, what that means to anybody who's tracking, is that you can figure out where to put your budget. Why you would put your budget in a certain particular area, because it's leveraging the assets that are out there. Because secondly, you can record phone calls and find out which sales are sales, which calls are converted. And that, to me, is the end of the rope. You make a phone call, you end up a sale, that is a conversion. We can now track that by separation of different types of advertising campaigns. Now you've got real data. Speaking of real data, third one, which is a little bit more complicated but still very useful, is keyword level tracking. So we can actually see the keyword that the call was placed from in an ad. So if you type in Plumber, New Jersey, it will say Plumber, New Jersey in the call stream as it goes through the AdWords campaign or SEO campaign. So you really have now a three-tiered level of understanding calls, separation of the people where they came from, and the keywords they've typed in. That data is so useful for business owners and for you and for anybody who's in the marketing business. Well, that's it for episode number 42. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the new format. Welcome to the new That Marketing Show. Until next time, we'll see you.